Amanda, these women are not strangers to the chief, are they?
No, at least 2 of the women are officers with the campus police department here at Savannah State, and attorneys for those women say the alleged misconduct has happened for years.
2 attorneys representing 3 women say their clients accuse one man, Savannah State University Police Chief James Barnwell, of sexual misconduct.
We represent an individual in connection with allegations of sexual harassment and sexual assault, and this is on Savannah State University's campus against Chief of Police.
The same story from 2 female Savannah State police officers who attorney Abdiquillian represents.
These complaints allege very serious misconduct on the part of the Chief of Police at Savannah State. They are of a sexual misconduct nature, sexual harassment.
She says both women filed those complaints internally with the university and federally with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or EEOC. Both attorneys say the alleged behavior doesn't seem like a one-time issue.
The sexual harassment, those allegations, those go back about 3 years now. A lot of that, especially discrimination in the workplace, a lot of that can take time to build, and there are different incidents.
I can say that they go back at least 2 years and continue until the time of the filing of them.
Both think current support for those who come forward with sexual misconduct allegations may have encouraged their clients to file complaints.
It may. I mean, it very well may, because I think culturally now there is a climate that this is not acceptable.
That's why we want to let people know that it's okay to come to us.
Neither has filed any legal complaints yet, but they say they're likely coming.
That's where we're headed.
University officials did not respond to our request for comment today about the allegations or if they have anything to do with why the chief was placed on administrative leave. University officials announced a week ago Chief James Barnwell is on paid leave while it does internal investigation. Live at Savannah State University, Amanda LeBreau, WTOC News.
More than 3 months after 3 women accused former Savannah State Police Chief James Barnwell of sexual misconduct, we are learning exactly what those women say happened.
The allegations range from inappropriate touching to sexual assault. WTOC's Amanda LeBreau has been following this investigation from the very beginning. Amanda, this new information explains why he's no longer working for the university.
Yeah, pages of reports from the Board of Regents investigation into former police chief James Barnwell's alleged misconduct all conclude there is reason to believe he violated Savannah State University's sexual harassment policy. The 3 officers say their chief made inappropriate comments and even committed non-consensual sexual acts. Barnwell denies all of it.
New findings from a Georgia Board of Regents investigation reveal what 3 subordinate officers say they experienced while working under then Savannah State University Police Chief James Barnwell.
There were touching, there were suggestive sexual encounters,
often happening while in uniform or at the police department on campus. Attorney Pierre Eiffel represents one of the officers who, according to reports written by the Board of Regents investigator, says Barnwell made comments about the complainant's appearance, suggestively looked at the complainant, and otherwise expressed sexual interest in the complainant, made propositions to perform sexual acts, retaliated against the complainant because she did not wish to pursue an intimate relationship.
We understood that these allegations were going on, but to have an investigator to substantiate a lot of the claims that at least my client was making, it was very profound.
A second officer accusing Barnwell of talking to her about non-work matters of a sexual nature, saying he made propositions to establish a social or otherwise intimate relationship and touched her buttocks, upper leg, and lower leg on various occasions. And a third officer alleged that on 2 consecutive nights the respondent entered her sleeping area and performed a sexual act on her without her consent while sleeping at the police department during Hurricane Matthew.
There was a culture over there at Savannah State to not say anything when others saw the egregious acts of Chief Barnwell and the inability of the university to protect its employees.
Barnwell's attorney didn't return a request for comment today, but his comments and Barnwell's affidavit are included in the investigators' reports. In them, Barnwell says, "I deny any allegations of sexual harassment, inappropriate behavior, comments, retaliation, bullying, or threats relating to misconduct in the performance of my duties. It is evident this is a clear form of retaliation and character assassination, and that he spent 32 years in the police department, and it does not make sense that in a few months of working at Savannah State University that he would, quote, lose his mind."
For him to blatantly deny these allegations and not take full responsibility for them just shows what type of character he has. And I'm wondering if this type of activity was taking place when he was with Savannah Metro also.
The 2 case files we have on Barnwell from his time at Metro aren't sexually based complaints, and the department didn't take any disciplinary action. Ifill says right now he's waiting on his right to sue letter from the EEOC. Then he plans to file a civil suit against Barnwell, the university, and the Board of Regents.
We're looking to take this to trial. I think the public needs to know that Chief Barnwell can't be trusted. The public needs to know that Savannah State has an inability to protect its employees and the general public from sexual predators.
He says his client is also planning to pursue criminal charges against Barnwell.
The standard for evidence in the Board of Regents investigation isn't as strict as it would be in a criminal case, for example. The board investigator just needed to decide if it was more likely than not Barnwell's conduct violated the university's sexual harassment policy. She did in all 3 cases, but didn't think there was enough evidence to support their claims Barnwell retaliated against them. Again, we reached out to Barnwell's attorney to weigh in, and he did not return our call.
Well, a second Savannah State University police officer is out of a job after an investigation revealed he violated the university's sexual harassment policy.
Former Police Chief James Barnwell resigned in May for the same reason, following complaints of sexual harassment and assault from 3 subordinate officers.
In this WTOC investigation, attorneys representing those women tell our Amanda LeBreau that the latest case shows a culture of misconduct there.
Savannah State University says Police Sergeant Nathaniel Copeland resigned before he could be fired from the findings of that investigation. Attorneys involved in the cases against former Chief Barnwell say their clients were victims of Copeland, too.
For the attorneys representing 3 women accusing former Savannah State Police Chief James Barnwell of sexual misconduct, a second resignation related to a sexual harassment investigation isn't a surprise.
It just reaffirms what we've been saying from the beginning, that there's a culture of sexual harassment. There's a culture of covering up different incidences by superiors as it relates to their employees. And I'm just finally glad that it's coming to the light.
Savannah State University says Sergeant Nathaniel Copeland resigned in lieu of termination on August 16th after an investigation found he violated the university's sexual harassment policy.
It's an environmental systemic problem that was out there with that police department. I mean, where inappropriate sexual conduct, where making inappropriate comments about subordinates was just tolerated. It was almost locker room. And that does not excuse it, because it's work.
The university says Copeland started working there in January 2015. Quillian says he used his rank as leverage.
He was a sergeant. He was over assigning overtime. He had a great benefit that he was able to dangle and would send text to female officers commenting on how sexy they are. When they were off duty, where are you? What are you wearing?
She shared some of the texts sent to her client with me today, including, "If you're looking sexy, I'm on the way to your house. How's about a lap dance?" And "No one knows what I do outside of SSU. I said that to say this. I'm a very discreet person. You were on my mind."
So dreadfully inappropriate and so blatantly sexual.
Both attorneys say the harassment intensified after their clients filed complaints about former Chief Barnwell.
Sergeant Copeland began to harass our client because of his close relationship with Chief Barnwell.
It got so bad that when one of my officers was there and still working and called for backup, no one came. And that is the scariest thing for any police officer, to realize I just made a complaint and it could affect my life.
Both say they hope this latest investigation is a sign the university is taking complaints seriously and taking steps to keep everyone on campus safer.
I reached out to Copeland today to see if he or an attorney representing him had any comment. He didn't respond.
A WTOC exclusive tonight. A Savannah attorney wants the state of Georgia to pull police powers from 2 former Savannah State University officers.
The Georgia Board of Regents found that former Chief James Barnwell and Sergeant Nathaniel Copeland violated Savannah State's sexual harassment policy. In this WTOC investigation, Amanda LeBreau explains why 2 accusers and their attorneys say the university shouldn't have hired at least one of them.
Yeah, this new letter asks the Georgia Peace Officer and Standards Training Council, or POST, to investigate officers Barnwell and Copeland, and says revoking their certifications is the only way to keep it from happening again.
2 women accusing 2 Savannah State University police officers of sexual harassment and assault are hoping to keep the men from working again as sworn officers.
The concern is that former Chief Barnwell and Sergeant Copeland could end up somewhere else in a position of authority in a police department over female subordinates, and my clients don't want to see that happen to anybody else.
Attorney Abdiquillian is asking the Georgia Peace Officer Standards and Training Council to investigate and revoke former Chief James Barnwell and Sergeant Nathaniel Copeland's POST certifications.
Police departments in Georgia require all their sworn officers to be post-certified. Along with that being post-certified goes the right to carry a firearm.
Through our WTOC investigation, we found this isn't the first time Copeland left a police job amid controversy. In 2006, Savannah-Chatham County Public Schools fired Copeland for interfering with a sexual assault investigation between then Beach High basketball coach Frank Williams and a 17-year-old student. Then Campus Police Chief Ulysses Bryant said, "There is reason for me to believe his actions were inappropriate and compromised his position, which is a position of trust."
That should have been a red flag for somebody. I mean, he shouldn't have been hired after being fired for interference with an ongoing investigation, but he was.
We reached out to Savannah State asking if the university knew about Copeland's 2006 termination or considered it before hiring him. We haven't heard back.
James Barnwell's attorney Carlton Stewart promised us a statement this afternoon, but we've yet to receive it. I also reached out to Copeland asking if he or an attorney had any comment and didn't hear back.